gonna call the May 20th meeting of the Conservation Commission to order. We are being recorded and on Zoom for live and future broadcasting. First order of business is meeting minutes for May 6th. Do you want me to bring them up, or is everyone good with them?
Yeah, I reviewed them, I didn't have anything.
Yep, I'm good.
If there isn't anything, is there a motion to accept the meeting minutes of May 6th?
I wasn't here.
Oh, right. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor by roll call?
Keenan abstain. Bjork on that.
Williamson, I.
Chinslucci, aye.
Clark abstained.
And Danza, aye, so those are approved. Alright. Next is the request for certificate of compliance, 223 Pleasantdale Road. I think, are they still working on getting their signs up?
Yes, so he ordered the signs, but I haven't heard back from him yet on the install, so we'll have to hold off on this one.
Okay. Easy enough. Just to double check, is there anyone here for that one before we move on? Just don't wanna move over it. Okay. Next, request for determination of applicability, 322 Main Street. I'll bring up the plan in a second. You wanna give us an intro, Julian?
Yes, so this is a property off of Main Street, and we're here asking for a request because the 100-foot buffer is here, the wetland is here, and it's actually up gradient of everything that we're looking to do here. This driveway exists, and there's a turnaround here, and it goes out to Main Street. So we felt that that would be inadequate. We're gonna have erosion, we're proposing to put some erosion control in this area just to keep the limit of work out of that area anyways. There's no reason to go there because the driveway's gonna continue off of what's here and into the house. We had a site walk Saturday and I felt it went pretty well for what we're looking to do and the impacts that this would have on the area. So we're requesting a negative determination, and when they go to get their building permit, it's no question on what's happening, because they're looking to do it pretty shortly. Justin Miner from Rutland is the builder who's gonna be building this. So, he was at the site walk.
For those of the site walk, do you wanna go over anything that you saw or any particular comments that stood out?
Yeah, there's not too much on this one. The wetland is to the east, and none of the site drains to the wetland, so that's good. Really no concerns, and the only part, just the small portion of the driveway is within the 100-foot. The house is outside. Most of the grading of the site property is outside, so yeah, not a lot of work within our jurisdiction anyways.
The drive's already established. for
It is,
so good-
yeah,
good base
yeah, it's a
to-
gravel drive now, but it's there.
I think this is when the DP had some comments on. Julian, did you look at those or
I
was
did.
it those at all?
And I don't see how there are any issues with what we're proposing to do.
They talked about, was this the one they talked about riverfront?
Yeah.
We're not in the riverfront,
Okay,
no.
alright, I just wanna,
Yeah, I checked the USGS and
I was
They're-
confused,
they're
okay.
mapped as intermittent streams, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Actually, Glenda, you had seen this site last year.
Yeah,
You walked all the way down the hill and saw that,
yeah.
and we saw nothing.
Was this
So-
lot part of like a larger one that have been already developed?
It was
'Cause that's usually
from
what,
like 15 years ago.
okay, 'cause when I see that comment, usually that's what they're getting to,
Yeah,
meeting
well,
that.
it's an 8-acre parcel, and this is very insignificant of what's gonna happen to the area with it.
The only other thing that I pulled out was this one about approving the boundaries would you be okay if we just did a negative determination on the work, not necessarily the wetland boundaries, since they're not shown on that whole plan?
I'm good with that, but
Okay.
I do have them, the Pat, if you look up,
Oh, yeah, the
right there. This
zone detail.
This
Oh,
is,
yeah.
this is what we've got, that's within us, but I'm fine with that, as long as they can get their building permit,
Yeah,
that's good, and if anything else varies out of this, we'll be back. But I don't see it happening, they're trying to keep it as high up on the hill, and it's tight, and one of the nice parts about this is the tree, the grove that they're in, and they wanna save that as much as they can. That's
it
fine.
just makes it a little bit cleaner, I don't know if anyone else
Okay with it.
isn't impacted anyway. Alright, so we have erosion controls, there's a detail on here for a wattle. And nothing's being done to the driveway, it's just being as is?
It's, right now it's gravel, but Justin said they probably eventually would want it paved, most likely, but right now it's very passable for heavy equipment.
Okay.
That's what it was built for, so I should have no issue with it.
Are there any other questions, comments from the commission? I know we have.
Yeah, the other thing I saw, Julian, was it looks like part of the leach field might be in the zone A.
No,
You just start like this tiny.
that's not in the zone A,
Do you know
nope.
where the zone A line is then?
It's over, this would be, that's the primary. This wetland surrounds a pond, a farm pond, that they picked out, this near Jimmy Susie's house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the zone A comes from the north down?
It comes from here, this way.
No. There's a zone A above, like where the leach field is.
Up here,
Yeah,
that's this line here. So the zone A goes like this. This is where the brook
this is
is.
what I have.
There's no brook,
She's talking about zone A, what you have is the watership protection zone, those are
which is
different,
the same.
those, no, they're different.
This is
Well,
the
they're-
zone A map,
They're
Julie.
different, they're the same, they're different, but they're, right. This is the pond,
This is the zone A line.
this is the pond that I was just telling you about. That's the wetland that surrounds the pond. And that's where the line comes out. That line depicts the brook being located, and the 200 feet from there is at that line. So if we were here, you are correct. We're here.
I'm still not seeing it. Cause it's 92 feet from the property line up,
Yeah.
so
So.
when I measured part of the leach field, like the zone A would come like right through here. This zone,
You can't go by this.
That's
This
on
is,
the
this was the field located. That brook was located when this line was made. This was all made, actually, this was all done when the senior housing project was being done, when he bought this whole property. So this was all depicted and shown off, and actually, it's expired, but it was.
you go by the mapping though, Julian.
What's that?
You go by the mapping.
You go by the mapping as a guide of where it is. You go by a survey of where it actually is. This is a survey of where it actually is. We did back in, what's the date here? We did an order of resource in NRAD, ORAD. Back in,
I can't see, I need to flip that in.
No, I see what you're, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
2/7/17.
it's like 92 feet from the property
You're
line.
scaling off a plan that's not surveyed. This brook actually goes down like this. It doesn't go like this. It goes like that.
Okay, then don't you need to get a map revision?
Why? We're not in it. We are not in it. We are not near the zone A in this.
Alright, can we have them add the line to the zone A line to the plan? Cause as far as I'm looking at it, the zone A is associated with this stream up here.
And that stream is field located, and that's the same stream as the DCR stream, the 200-foot no-touch zone.
Okay,
They're both the same.
I didn't look at the DCR map.
Well, they're both the same stream that come out of this farm pond. I told you that it started out
Okay.
with bathtub,
I guess you can do that, but I always
so.
thought you were supposed to go by the
So
zoning,
where
the
we,
mapping.
this was heavily looked into and
And the
reflected.
DEP comments, they didn't say anything about the zoning, did they?
They usually don't.
it's not in the riverfront, it's not in the 200-foot no fill zone, and it's not in the zone A for what we're proposing. I'm not saying the lot's not in it, but what we're proposing is not in it,
Okay.
so.
This is two Main Street.
I mean, I guess if he's saying,
I mean, it's something that we feel needs to be commented on, that's Board of Health jurisdiction with the septic. We can always send him
I guess,
a note.
yeah. What's the mapping show, the
So let me,
DCR mapping?
yeah, let me bring this up,
Looks pretty close to the GIS.
yeah.
Yeah, so like, that's their primary zone.
Right, and when it's not there, this is out of whack, out of scale. It is there, but it's located on this map by an instrument. We're absolutely not in that zone. And this all came about when this, we'll go back to that one.
I guess I'm confused.
When this house was built, that's Jimmy's house. This was all determined because of his house and these houses. This was all done at that time. And it was done in this, actually, it was done in this, like I said, it's expired.
I was thinking they were different streams.
So,
Two different streams.
no, there's only one brook that empties that farm pond,
But it's just so different.
and it comes out of the pond. Well, do you remember when we walked out there? You would physically had walked on this, and we walked down that mountain, and it flattened out way at the bottom of the hill, just before you get to the pond. I mean, it doesn't even show on this. We're
All right,
400 feet away,
I'm fine with if you guys are.
and that's
okay
where
with
it crossed. So we were very, very, very careful on this to avoid.
it. If you guys are fine with it, I am. It's the same stream, whatever.
You can still send along the comments. You can still send along the comment, if that's what you want.
Yeah, just let the, I guess, the Board of Health guy know. For a limited clearing, where's that gonna be, Julian?
Probably right where the grade lines are. They wanna try to preserve as much as they can. That's their intent. Going this way will be the silt fence.
Okay. Cause they usually put zone A in their comment letters, the ones I get, they do. I don't know, I'm confused.
No, I'm trying to think the last time they brought it up.
So you surveyed that stream coming out of the
Yes.
pond, Julian?
Yes,
Okay.
that was located when this private, when Susie owned this whole piece, cause there was,
I'm fine if he's,
Big
if he surveyed
subdivision
the stream, he knows,
proposed.
yeah, if you know where the stream is, that's fine.
yeah,
So where would it be on this map? Is it just over to the right?
way over. Way over like this,
Okay,
and it comes out of the pond.
okay.
That was defined by Jeff Lacy from the DCR, even though it was divided by a bathtub. where it came out of the pond, it dropped into a bathtub. Cause it was a pond, this was a farm, this was a dairy farm. And that was a pond for the cows back when the Davises owned it. But it came up on the map, so we dealt with it.
I'm good.
Any other comments, questions, from commission members? You good? Good, are you good?
What?
You good?
You wait.
I was looking at you, but you couldn't see me. Young lady. I'll move up so you can see me better.
Is there anyone from the public who has any questions or comments on this application? Okay, seeing none, I think we talked about negative determination that the work is in the buffer zone. Probably with our standard condition that erosion control is installed and inspected prior to construction. And
That'd be
we'll,
number 3, right?
number 3, and we will forward along our zoning comments to the board. Anyone wanna make that motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor by roll call?
And York and I.
Williams and I.
Chintalucci, aye.
Clock eye.
Danza, aye. Alright, so that one's all set.
Thank you.
Next one, request for determination of applicability for Glenwood Road. This is continued from last time. It's going. So you guys also did a site walk on this one.
We did.
It did, yes.
Any fun comments to share?
Okay, an overview.
Sure.
So, piece of property, how many, 60 acres? Like 60-acre parcel. The frontage goes from this point here, there's a stone wall, and it comes across this way. And all the frontage in this area is pretty much barricaded by this wetland here, and it all flows this direction. There's an old driveway that accesses, this is the old driveway. It goes out throughout the property, and it comes down through here, and I'm sure they use this as a logging, landing. I know they did for a while, and that's the only way they can get in there. But we're hoping to stay within the limits of what used to be, but it hasn't been maintained for many, many years, but you can physically still see it. And we're hoping to just upgrade that with some gravel. He's gonna leave it gravel for a while because of what it costs to try to do anything else. And just fix it up as it goes up around that corner to avoid any possible erosion. And they'll put a stone diaphragm right along this edge. So anything coming off and sheet flowing will catch that and slow it down so it doesn't cause any problems downhill. The 100-foot buffer is right up in this area here. Goes like this, comes down. So this area is in the 100-foot. A little bit in here, and then it goes out. And he's planning on eventually building up way up in here. One single-family house. I know we got a letter from the DEP also with some comments. And one of the comments was, well, what's this gonna be? And I corrected that and resubmitted that it's a single-family house, upgrading an existing driveway to the property. And that's what we've got on this one so far.
You'll have erosion control on both sides of the road.
Erosion control on both sides of the road. The one thing that I do, and I'd like to condition or have permission to do so after we had our site walk, I definitely want to put a leveling pipe when we walked up in this area, just so that in the heavy rains that we've had, it doesn't cause a problem. We'll just have it at the invert will be on the grade here and on grade here, so it's not changing any hydraulic conditions, but it will be a relief if we get a storm like we did a couple weeks ago. And that's that for this
So
one.
there's no existing culvert there now.
There's no existing culvert there now.
Can he do that? Just put a culvert in
I'm not sure.
under an RDA?
I believe you can. I just want to bring up, Skip, it said, I went to Worcester Concom yesterday, and there were at least more than I thought, items with RDAs, with stuff that they're building parking lots, expanding giant parking lots and drainage systems, and as long as it doesn't, you got a way that you're gonna propose how to do this and protect the wetlands, they've used that avenue more than I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that you're not gonna be blocking flow,
No, we don't wanna do that.
so.
And we already have a nice way of, that's right where it's laying, so we're not even really taking many trees out of the way.
No.
It's just a couple, you know, 'cause it's already.
I wasn't at the sidewalk, but what's the existing, is it standing water, is it just?
This is, right now, this is kind of a standing water, a little pond. I mean, that's not that, standing water that often, is it?
No, it isn't. It's only because it's so wet.
And then this is just a wetland, vegetated wetland,
What you didn't show was the culvert pipe that goes under the road from that
coming this
that
way.
piece. There's a pipe, culvert pipe comes under the road, drains that
Where
whole.
you wanna put your culvert in,
Right, there's,
what's going on there?
right here.
Wherever you're proposing to put your.
It's just a flat area, and because this floods up, you can see from this last storm, this whole driveway is acting a little bit like a dam. So let's let it keep doing what it's doing without causing it to back up.
Where's the other culvert, Skip?
Over here,
It's right,
over in here,
come back this way.
Further
there's a
south.
telephone pole right here,
Yeah, right in there somewhere.
so right in there, so that's what's causing that. So that way we won't cause any backing.
I'll write it down.
And then the comment was on riverfront. There is riverfront on the property, but that's the big brook down past, closer to your house.
Yeah,
There's a actual flowing. So we located that, and that's where the 200-foot buffer is, to show that we're not touching it.
Any comments from your site walk?
We did talk about some of the trees right along the edge of the existing cart path. They're pretty small trees.
Small, yeah.
That'll have to come out, I mean, like 2 inches,
Okay.
3 inches, so. Nothing big coming out. Trying to remember if anything else, we talked about anything else. You mentioned the possibility of doing a culvert.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea.
I think you mentioned this too on the sidewalk, Julian, I was looking at the grades, the finished grade of the driveway will come up a little bit. We
Yes.
learned that today.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Where's the house going to it?
Way up in the middle of the 60 acres. The castle in the top of the. It's a beautiful piece of land.
Was this where that old building burned down last year?
no,
No.
Wasn't there a fire near there? Was it a different location?
That was a fire training exercise.
Oh, the single family home.
that was down, that was way down near,
It was on my road.
More towards the rail trail?
more, way more, yeah. It was just up from the rail trail, that practice burn.
Oh, I was wondering about the heck was burning. Something smoking.
But you don't have a plan that shows the proposed pipe that you wanna put in?
I don't, it's just gonna be a 12-inch HDPE pipe, inverts that grade. So, I mean, I could put it on this and send it in as an update tomorrow morning very easily. If that's all right.
That gives me pause.
Yeah, since our sidewalk, I was thinking about the culvert, proposed culvert you mentioned. I'm on the fence whether it's needed or not. My worry is that will it drain that wetland on the left side of the driveway, drain it down.
If we don't change we put it right at the grade of the ground that's there now.
Yeah.
Don't dig it in. Leave it right at that grade, which was about 6, probably, because there was a little bit of a hump there, because of the material that they put in for that path.
Yeah.
So I think we have about 6 inches of grade, 12-inch pipe, all you need is a foot of cover on it, so there'll be, and that was a lower, this is definitely was, if you micro topoed it, this is definitely a lower spot than all of this.
Yeah.
So we put it at grade here and at grade there, and don't dig a sump or anything, and then fill over it. This will keep this equal to what it's doing now later too. So we have not changed any hydraulic condition whatsoever.
You have enough cover? over the
Yes,
pipe?
absolutely, we could put a foot of covers. They'll be sticking out of the ground a foot and a half in that one spot. Just taper it down. Definitely could vet that without any alteration of anything around there. Or touching the wetland line. We'll equalize it so that we don't wanna change any characteristics. That's what I'm trying to prevent.
So I guess my pause is, I feel like that's a substantial plan change, accepting after we issue a decision. Not substantial necessarily, but.
Well, if I add it to this plan, would that work? Or I could add it right now and say invert that grade, I'll draw a line. That way it doesn't, it's preventing, I mean, we don't have to put the culvert pipe in, but we'll be back here next springtime after a storm like this last weekend and saying, oh, can we put a culvert pipe in here so that,
I feel like if it was on the plan, we would have approved it either way.
so.
It wouldn't have changed
Well, I didn't see that the condition
if there was a culvert
up
there.
until this last storm, that precautionary, we should, as an engineer, I feel that it's a good idea to give the relief so that we don't change anything. We don't wanna dam up anything on that side, and we don't wanna drain something on this side. It's just an equalizer.
Yeah.
Like if you go through a wetland, this board and other boards usually ask, well, if you're filling a wetland, can we put a couple of pipes at the same level to kind of equalize the whole crossing? And this is just one spot, because it's that small. So,
I have no issue with it, it's just if it's put on the plan.
I could put it on the plan, I could give the plan tomorrow. I mean, conditionally approve that you get this plan with that culvert. Now, I'll put an invert on it, so there's no question of the elevation, and then we'll even give an as-built. That way we're covered. But he'd like to get the tree guy in there and get the driveway going as soon as possible.
I personally wanna see it before, I don't know what others think.
Generally, I would say, yeah. The other thing that, as we walked the site Saturday, I was thinking about more over the weekend, I just wanna throw this question out to the commission members, and maybe this is something we think about more after this filing, but there's 12,000 square feet of disturbance in the buffer zone? No disturbance of resource areas directly. I don't have an issue with the work being proposed, but the question I keep asking myself is an RDA appropriate for this, or should it be an NOI? And this leads me to a bigger question as to just making sure we set good precedent for other projects too.
Especially with the proximity to
Just
that one.
The proximity is the other piece to it. It is very close to the wetlands, granted not in them, but very close.
I do have a comment to answer that we're not gonna show anything different with the NOI than I'm showing here for this application, so I heard them condition these RDAs yesterday at the city. No issue with that, he's not going anywhere, he wants, and Skip's right there too. So we can follow the same suit, we get the hay bales in, you don't do nothing till somebody sees the hay bales, and they do the work, and we give you an as-built. And anything deviates from this, and he gets shut down, and we don't wanna be there, so I'm pretty much sure he's not gonna allow that to happen. That's, not what he's looking to start.
Take a vote.
And you're, not to bring up anything from the past, I've seen a couple of other RDAs go through just recently on things that
It's working the buffer,
putting,
regardless, I mean, you can do it with an RDA.
that's what we're hoping.
You can still condition it.
That's true, yeah. How long will the work take? Probably not very long.
I would say 2 days. If it's 3 days, I'd be yelling at the guy. Like, stop wasting your time. There really isn't that much to do there, cause it's pretty much prep, it's just dress up.
Yeah, I think that's a factor in it too, is if this were gonna be disturbed and exposed for several weeks, a month, couple months,
No.
Or
You know,
in
that-
the
it-
driveway.
yeah, it might be a different story, but if it's gonna be done fairly quickly, that's a good thing.
That's,
It's less time that you have a chance for something to go wrong. Not that anything will, but decreases the probability.
Do you know putting a pipe might make that BVW in the future too? You do realize that though, right?
that's fine,
Okay.
that's totally fine. Jack, that's fine.
point.
That's not
Yeah.
gonna hurt you at all, no,
Bylaw passes jurisdictional in a couple months
that's why,
anyways.
I don't think he's ever,
Well,
well, if he
It's-
goes to put up a mailbox, he may have to come and get an RDA. That's about it, that's the only thing you're ever gonna do down there,
I
is put up a
noticed
mailbox.
it's ILSF, which without our bylaw is protected,
Oh,
but
I
there's,
thought it was
but,
just
but
IBW.
there's no buffer zone.
Okay,
But then with the bylaw.
I read it wrong.
There would be a buffer zone, but honestly, that wouldn't really change anything because
Yeah.
you already have a buffer zone from the wetland on the other side, so it would just extend that buffer zone further north, way beyond where you're putting the driveway, so that doesn't make a difference.
Okay. Where do we stand on the plan? Can we put something together by the end of the meeting? Draw it?
Yeah, give me, I'll have it before I leave, you guys,
Okay.
we can go to the
Carry
next
on,
thing.
we'll come back to you. Well, is
Okay.
there, is there anyone here who has a question or comment on this application? Okay, are we good just tabling this for 5 minutes? Okay. As he scribbles away. Although he's next anyways. Let's bring up the siltation concerns, Miles Road, Depot Road. Is there someone here for that?
Which one? Road?
Yes, yep,
Devereaux.
we're giving you a break for a second, Julian, yes.
Perfect.
So we got an email from DEP that there's some sedimentation had happened, there might have been some construction going on. Do you wanna
Okay.
give us a little bit of a,
So
your
we
understanding
put
of
a
it?
perimeter fence around Devereaux, 10-foot fence, is gonna be a sliding gate halfway up the hill. There is some compacted stone there now, we're working with Wachusett Excavation to redo that whole driveway. It's all solid, nothing, a couple of the stone, moved a little bit, we cleaned that all up, but other than that, it was all contained and there was some runoff from that road, it is a dirt road that goes down. And that was corroding on both sides, even the town had cones and everything because it had completely sunk on both sides, so other than that, I mean, it was just that one freak
Yeah,
rainstorm. It just moved a couple of, 3/4 stones around, but we got that all cleaned up and it never went further than the middle of the road. It was never into the woods or anywhere near that
Yeah.
pond, to be honest with you.
I was bird watching out there and I think it was from the private driveway.
It's the driveway
Cause
now.
that driveway is like all caved in and there was.
So they went and did some work over the
I
last
don't
few
think it
days.
had anything to do with Devereaux. right?
No, it really
You
didn't.
guys are way too far away.
Yes, it would have to be a pretty substantial amount of,
They probably didn't even walk up that dirt driveway.
I don't think they did. Nope.
Yeah, they
It
did
was
a lot of
pretty
work
bad. I mean,
from-
it was bad.
And we have that all contained, you know what I mean? It's all the way it's supposed to be. It's compacted, like you can walk on it, drive on it if you want, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't,
okay, so this is just kind of the.
Yeah, see
stone.
how we have that perimeter all the way down,
Yep.
It's all
We're gonna do this.
contained.
there's no way that much sediment
No way.
came from that.
That road was completely, the left-hand side of it was completely like gone and washed out
Okay.
and right down in multiple
This is gonna be
spots.
quick,
And so that's
it's gonna be clean, it's gonna be done.
it's gonna continue.
It's lucky you
Show
were
up
up there.
on Monday morning.
It's gonna literally continue to degrade. We need to
Okay.
get that property owner is what we need to do.
Stick my neck out.
Cause is that a town, bro, is
That's a
that,
private road
Oh, it is.
to a single family residence.
I know there's a single family, I didn't know if the town owns, I know there's easements and stuff at the end of it, you know what I mean, so I don't
I
know.
just assumed it was private, maybe it's,
I think it's town, some of it, to be
Might be a
honest,
town
but I could be wrong.
maybe we should let DPW know.
Are you talking about Moultonville?
I think, yeah, yes,
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows.
yeah, no one
Town.
knows.
It's a dispute, it's been disputed.
John, no.
I know the guy that lives up there, he has a cute dog. It's like a really old bulldog, his name's Charlie.
You've been in.
Well, she's birding.
Yeah, any issues I would have been more than happy to fix, you know what I mean, but I honestly, I don't think, it was not coming from
There's
that
no
work
way.
site.
You call me a nerd.
Just,
No, seriously, you start off this conversation, I was birding and I saw this. I didn't expect that to come out of your mouth.
that's a really good birding spot.
It is.
You see all kinds of cool shit up there.
Okay.
Is it this one where it's coming from? Is it that residence?
Yeah. He's the only resident out there, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's much
Yeah, it's
closer to
way,
we
you
need
know,
to
farther
like
down.
call that guy, get that road repaired.
I agree.
If it's his.
Oh, that guy.
Well, thanks for coming in.
All right, thank you.
I think,
Thank you for your time.
I will report back to DEP. I think that was great that you were, sorry.
Please come back again and do some
Yeah.
more bird watching. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, bye.
I'm just gonna reply, Glenda was birding and
Glenda was birding and saw
says
the
all is
issue.
good.
It's
and she knows Charlie the bulldog.
Great.
It's baby, better than baby sniffing. Okay,
Okay, I'm back.
you're back. You've drawn your
I
plan.
have a beautiful plan here.
Let's
And
look at it
I will
quickly.
follow up with one that looks,
I would love that.
we got a 12-inch HDPE pipe proposed, inverts that existing grade on both ends, so, and I will get a number there, I'll pick it from the topography.
Okay.
I'll make it look, date it.
You guys wanna,
Is it just, are you gonna do anything around it, like stone, or do you just put the
Put it on the
grade?
ground to just grade the driveway, the gravel from both sides of it, so. There should be really nothing going into it, but.
I would say no stone around it or anything, just
No,
original,
Keep the ends
original
open.
material as much as possible.
right.
Disturb it as little as possible.
can I give
Yep.
this to you? Will you put this in the our official record?
Yeah, don't mess
Can
the
you send
wetland
me
up.
an electronic once you
Yes.
do the formal? Thank you.
It's just for when it builds up,
When it's super
Right.
high,
so
yeah.
you shouldn't even be digging down into that.
Not digging down at all, we're gonna leave it right on top, cause
I'll just throw this out there. Could you go with the smaller pipe? Just to keep the grading?
actually we could.
Road
Let's
down
go
a
with an
little
8
bit?
inch, that would save a lot,
Eight.
Maybe
or
go
a
a
6
little
inch.
smaller?
6 inch is just a wick,
Yeah.
see?
6.
Let me change that to 6 inch.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that's.
And that wouldn't get plugged.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, would it get plugged up?
Even if it does, I think it'll be reachable enough that you could just
Absolutely, they can clean
blow right through.
Yeah.
It's just a relief in case.
12-inch could handle a lot more flow.
6 inch.
This is by reducing the pipe size.
Just a quick question,
He didn't hear it.
I'm good with the 6 inch.
I would,
He's an engineer.
Just a quick
He wants
question.
a 6 inch priority.
Yeah,
if possible, I'm a mechanical engineer myself, so I always like to like over-engineer things. If a 12 would be acceptable, I would prefer bigger, just so that way, long-term, because I plan on retiring in this house. So, if
What do you
it's
guys want?
acceptable, if not, I'll do whatever you guys
Then
want, but
compromise on it and say an 8 inch.
How about,
they're the bosses,
I'd say,
Grading's easier if the pipe's smaller.
yeah,
absolutely it is.
yeah.
It also.
How about we do this? I put,
Well,
it's not gonna act as one, but if we put two 6-inch ones side by side in the same ditch,
Yeah.
you're not gonna get the same flow, but you're gonna have to give a better
This is getting.
two 6-inch pipes.
This is,
I
this
love
is
that
out
we're
of
designing
hand.
culverts.
We have two den sites for,
I'm actually a flow engineer. 2 6-inch pipes don't do the same as 112.
They don't, but it's okay. In Julian's mind, they can today.
I think you need at least 3 6-inch pipes.
Yeah.
and
Not,
12.
I know this.
Do 2 6-inches equal a 12?
No,
Not even close.
No,
not
they
even
don't.
close.
Oh, because of the area.
Yeah.
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 But we're only looking for a relief as the storms come, if it doesn't. It didn't go over this last storm, so
Right.
that's, but it was definitely looked like it could, so.
The condition now is that it overflows the path. And so that can carry a lot of flow. So if you think of it that way, is putting in a 12-inch problematic? Probably not.
No,
But the smaller pipe will make the grading a little bit easier. It'll be
Right.
less of a hump in the driveway, or
And
you don't have to
well,
come up as
cheaper.
high.
Yeah. The, like where it was overflowing, where we were looking at it, it was a big dip down.
Yeah.
So I think a 12, I don't know. I'll do what you
two
guys want.
6-inch, leave
Okay.
it, leave it at
Julian's
that.
done with you.
I think.
You got it,
Okay, so
As long as there's a path for water, I think that's what that's important.
that's all we're looking for.
All right,
let's make a vote.
so negative, the work is in the buffer. 2 6-inches shall not impact resource areas. Erosion controls installed and inspected prior to construction. And a formal plan. Revised plan as notated to be submitted prior to construction. Do we want an as-built? He keeps throwing it out there, let's
Mention
hold him
as-built.
to
Yeah,
it.
as-built, that's,
As-built
if you're
provided,
happy, it's
Doesn't hurt
worth
to
it,
hit that.
it's no big deal, it's
Just
just.
the record, what's there.
as-built
Yeah.
within 30 days of completion of the driveway? Is
Yeah.
that- Okay.
Yep.
Gotta hold you to something.
That's right,
I
I might go somewhere, I've only been here, how long, Skip?
know.
Couple of
Yeah,
days.
so what did you say about the top? It's
39
not impacting what?
yesterday, I've
Resource
been doing
areas.
this, 39 years, May 19th,
I
think it's time.
That's it.
I think you guys have beaten this one.
Crazy,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Is there-
39 years ago yesterday was my
Motion.
first day of work.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Holy-
All those in favor by roll call?
Ian and I, York and I.
Williams and I.
Gentlelucci, aye.
Okay.
Dan's aye. You're good.
Thank you.
Melissa, can I just quickly read back the specials
Yes,
to make sure I
you
got
may,
it? Alright,
absolutely.
So we got
You're good to go. You're good
JCB's
to go.
inspection.
We'll make some money, cause you have to need it to pay for these guys.
Right.
Thank
you.
Impact the resource
Have a good
area.
night.
I'm not good, I
Revised
still gotta
plan
stay here.
submitted prior
I
to
don't want-
construction and an as-built within 30 days of
Did you
completion.
get the erosion control?
That's
in?
everything? Okay. Thank you.
Two questions.
I read-
I have no answers for you,
Yep. Okay.
sorry.
Take a day or two.
Never mind. That was Glenwood, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, public hearing, notice of intent. I'm gonna open up both the hearings for Brintnal Drive, lots 9R and lot 10. Why the heck not?
We did 2 6-inches, we might as well do 2
Yeah.
things at once, you
Yeah.
know?
Doing things in
You know
pairs,
what?
you know?
Yeah.
Why the
Being
heck not?
efficient.
Oh, these aren't actually next to each other, are they? I always
Not
forget that.
directly, no,
Gosh
but they're
darn it.
close.
They're close enough.
Gosh darn it.
Yeah, what, 200 yards?
Yeah.
They're on the same side of the road, right?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Alright, Julian,
Which one wanna do first?
let's do 9R first.
Okay, which one is that? The one, okay,
This
this is
one.
the lower one, this one's further down Brintnal.
This is the second one we went to?
This was
This is the first one,
First one.
this is the first one we looked at. So, this is the border and vegetated wetland. We're proposing erosion control, limit of work, right here, so we're definitely out of even your new bylaw of setbacks, no work proposed within 25 feet. Except for here, I just retract myself. There's a little bit of grading right here, but it's over, I think it's 15 feet, cause we used to try to keep everything 15 feet
Yeah.
away. But this was before the new stuff, so
Sorry.
we'll stay away as far as we possibly can for the entrance of the driveway. It's a drive under garage with a walkout, so there's very little grading, almost no different change in grading in the backyard. And we're tied into sewer and water on Brintnal. So we're not creating any septic systems or drilling any wells or anything.
If I may, 15 feet is the closest point to the wetland? No.
The closest point, I would
Just for
say,
the borders.
say 15 feet.
15, okay.
Think these get numbers yet?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yep. I think the only comment from DEP was to provide the
Oh, yeah.
certificate of mailings.
These were Tom's.
And I
Okay.
did that. I don't know why that was a comment, but it's all right.
Comments from the sidewalk.
No, not on this one.
Look like a lot, cool.
Yeah.
Do you wanna go over the next one and then come back to this, or do you wanna talk about 9R?
Just finish this one, go to the next one.
Alright, let's finish this one. So there are some areas that are close to the BVW. In these circumstances, we've been putting demarcation of some sort,
Boulders,
boulders.
signs, something.
Boulders, can just get condition, he's used to doing that, that's
At where,
I
Melissa?
think along
right along the driveway.
Yeah,
good. It tails off from there.
yep.
Up there, just that section?
Do we want any in the back here? If this is gonna be lawn, I feel like
Yeah, it
a gentle
wouldn't hurt.
mowing pass year by year.
Yeah.
I kinda feel like up top there would be boulders, cause you have some, you know, it's not that close, but even down there at the very bottom along the driveway, maybe a sign.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
So you wanna pick the flag numbers and say, a sign,
do we even just want like the straightaway here? Just along the straightaway?
That makes sense, cause that's
so along
probably,
V6 to V9. 15 feet away from the BVW,
On the erosion control line, I'd say,
At the limit of work?
at the limit
I
of
don't
work.
know work, okay, right on the limit of work.
So boulders along the limit of work?
Yep.
Not along the driveway though?
Still along the driveway.
So along the driveway, okay.
So in both places. Although I like Tim's point about a sign here.
Do you want boulders and signs? So.
Where are they gonna dump their leaves? That's what I always think of.
Their wetland flag V2,
Yeah,
Are we gonna order some signs?
Are we what?
money.
Just your wetland protection money to order.
To do what?
No disturb zone sign?
Oh,
Really?
that
Spent
makes
it all on name
sense.
tags.
Yeah.
We did, yeah.
We're so
Like,
irresponsible.
Oh, I think we talked about like making a template,
Right,
cause
yeah,
why
so we have
would
a
we
standard.
pay for signs for people to put
Right,
up for their projects?
have the applicants pay for it.
I don't know,
Yeah.
we just bought like
But
two.
we could come up with a
250
standard.
we
we
can-
have, I think he had some on Brintnal that he had to put up.
He probably found just
I'll find, yeah, I think he had some,
there are plenty out there.
so I have
I have seen
V2,
other
anywhere
templates
else?
that have standard signs, but they usually have the applicant
Mhm.
pay for them, provide them, install them.
Do we want a sign in the rear or just along this one? Could even put one like right in the middle of V8.
I don't think it would hurt.
Yeah, I'm okay, the boulders I think are,
As long as they're big enough.
yeah, you do a line of big boulders, I think you're in good shape.
Large boulders.
Large boulders.
You can do that.
Anything else on this one? Assuming this is all just gonna be grass.
Yep, seeded. And I don't know if, this might have been done before the National Grid. Can we add that in the conditions that electric power can be, is allowed?
I'd love that for you.
So that when they're coming back, asking if we can connect to National Grid,
So
that's their new.
That'd be a good way to word that. Installation of utilities is
shall be
permitted,
permitted.
shall be permitted.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So they're always gonna need a determination from Hansson.
It seems like it.
Seems
yeah.
like it.
Lately, yeah.
Asking for it. Will that satisfy them, you think, Julian? Or will
Not sure if
they-
it's in the order of conditions that it's allowed, that's done.
That makes it easier. I just didn't know if they're always gonna ask for a separate letter.
This was done before, I mean,
Sorry.
we've had this for a while, and, since the barrage of National Grid requests, we would like to have power, that would be a good thing. Well,
I mean, you
we're
do
not
all
gonna
that
let you
work,
go
you
until
might
you
as
get a
well.
letter from,
It's nice to be able to turn the lights on.
They must have gotten in trouble in another town or something.
Anything else on this one? Anyone?
I think so.
I'm sorry, did you have something? No. Anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this one? Not seeing anyone. If there's nothing else, I'd accept a motion to close.
Motion moved.
Second.
All those in favor by roll call?
Dean and I.
Bjork and I.
Williams and I.
Lucy, aye.
Dan's aye, and motion to issue the order of conditions with the conditions as discussed.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor by roll call?
Dean and I.
Bjork and I.
Williams and I.
James Lucy, aye.
Okay.
Dan's aye. Alright, 9R is donezo. Not 10.
okay. We've got a single-family home. Driveway is located as furthest point as we could on the lot, this is the property line. We're going in, the wetland, this wetland actually makes a circle here, and there's a culvert pipe. And that culvert pipe has just been put in within the last 5 years or so.
Oh, great.
So that was regardless, that is a well, we're gonna protect that as a wetland. Well, since our sidewalk, we did have something we all saw, like right here where the driveway's going. The DPW had done some work in Brintnal, and they put in a culvert pipe, which looks like a subdrain, and a plunge pool with some riprap, and it's pretty fresh. Why I'm bringing that up is I wanna make sure that anyone and everyone realizes that Blair's did not do that at this point. So it looks like somebody's already went in there and started building a driveway. It's not him.
So does that impact where your driveway is going?
No, it's
Okay.
off to the side. It's just past it. So it works out pretty well. And it's actually good because all the water coming off of Brintnal is gonna
Catching that.
be controlled. We're proposing erosion control around the bottom side. The house is outside, well, pretty close to outside the 100-foot buffer. It's up here. Drive under garage, typical house that he builds. And again, water and sewer. There's no septic, it's a water and sewer connected.
Currently, wooded.
It's wooded.
Julie, what's the closest point to the wetland on this one?
What's that?
I'm sorry, the closest point to the wetland on this one?
And this one, probably 5 feet.
5 feet, okay, thank you.
Is this one from the sidewalk? Or is it just the DPW findings?
Yeah, we did see that. Julian pointed it out that was not done by the property owner.
Right.
It was flowing. There was a little bit of flow coming out of that
That was
under drain, yeah.
Is it clear, clean?
The water was pretty clear, yeah.
There was some sediment in there.
There
but-
was, yeah, there was a little bit of sediment in the plunge pool, a little bit beyond the plunge pool. That was there when we got there, so.
Okay.
Guessing that probably happened from the recent storms.
Mhm.
Brian and I walked It was pretty thick actually, along the wetland line, but we walked part of it, good decent part of it.
The whole
Yeah, you
eastern
ended
side
up,
pretty
you
much.
ended up to at least here.
Yeah, right about there where at
And
that
there, 'cause
point.
I was standing here and I was watching you guys going through the jungle. I'm not going through there, sorry.
It's pretty thick through
I
there.
did it once.
Yeah, we got to the point where it starts to tail off and the wetland flag goes away from the development, so we didn't have to. We could see the flag, the next one, but we weren't going.
And that comes right back to the street,
And then, yeah,
so.
that comes
It
right
is
back.
listed as a potential pool, vernal pool.
I think I forgot to ask this on the last one, what was the makeup of were there invasives we need to?
I didn't even notice, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I feel like if they were there, I would
You
have,
would have noticed, yeah.
mostly mountain laurel,
Mountain laurel is
And,
heavily, that's why it
hemlocks,
was
I
so
think.
thick.
Mountain laurel,
It's,
hemlock.
that whole hillside is mountain laurel,
Oh, that sounds like.
thick, thick, thick mountain laurel.
Do we want demarcation on this one as
Yeah,
well?
I think, yeah,
Yeah, I
Maybe
think so.
from the road
little salamanders on them.
following the ECB line. Maybe at least until, was that 17?
Yeah,
17?
So about both of the numbers.
Yeah.
That's 17 or is that
Yeah.
J7?
That's, oh, it's J7.
J7.
yeah, that's right,
Thanks.
J7,
Did you guys walk the wetland boundary?
we did,
Yep, just to about 7 or 8.
yeah.
And did it look, oops, I'm sorry, did it look, okay.
Yep.
This one also can have power.
Leave them off the grid.
Yeah.
So that's just a vegetated wetland, Julian?
Vegetated wetland.
Okay, so no open water or deep pools or anything?
No,
It's probably not, I'm thinking it's probably not a vernal pool.
There's a little bit of open, but not, I mean, it's mostly sedges and stuff. I'd be happy to go back and look, but
Any other potential conditions on this one? Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on this application? Any other comments, questions from the commission? If not, I'll hear a motion to close. Is there a second?
Second,
All those in favor by roll call?
Keen and I.
York and I.
Williamson, I.
Gentilucci,
Danza, aye. And a motion to issue the order of conditions with the conditions as discussed.
so moved.
Second.
It said Jared and Tim every single.
Oh,
You can
all
jump
the-
in whenever you
Oh
want.
my god, and
I
I
want
forgot to do my job. All those in favor by roll call?
Keen and I.
York and I.
Williamson, I.
Gentilucci,
Danza, aye. Alright, so that one, you're all set. Do you have any updates on 213 Barry Paxton?
I do. I do. Let me just find it here. I have a plan and I have a whole, there we go. I didn't get it, Kamika, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you.
That's
You
okay.
Gave me a message to get this in and I failed, but I also, let me get this together here. I'll send it electronically tomorrow. They can talk to it. I'll just show it. We won't have it on the big screen for today.
The street view.
What we've got. And here's Barry Paxton Road. This is the parking lot. And the driveway that goes in the back, and this was that area that we have the big wood chip area. This dark line exists as a wood chip berm, so nothing from this can ever go that way without being protected by the wood chip berm. This is all growing, it's almost like you can't even call anything was ever in there. We caught it at a perfect time last springtime. So what we're proposing in this, and I'm doing it, I know, hold on, gonna throw it out there. I was able to put this together today. I filled out the determination of applicability paperwork. I don't know if that'd be sufficient for this. I'm hoping it is, because all we're doing is what we talked about at this sidewalk, is here's the wetland line. I flagged it. I've got a wetland report of one of the soils and vegetation. And it's gonna rip wrap this banking that's kind of eroding now. And it's so steep, it's pretty much straight up and down. So we won't go any further. We'll put a wood chip berm right at the toe right now, so that'll be a dam. And then rip wrap right down to it and not extend anything, not increase anything, just armor that banking. And I threw this on the plan because I think the neighbors have talked to him. He says, I'd like to put a fence eventually, but we're in the buffer zone, so I said, future fence location, so that if he does put a fence up, we're there and everyone's happy. And that's what we got, so I was gonna submit this and hope that this would, we can go to the next meeting and advertise and do whatever we need to do if it's sufficient. And get this on the, behind us. If you wanna do a site walk, we can do it on a site walk, so you can see how this has come back, and that hasn't changed from when we were there. And another thing that we haven't done, and no one's touched it, but they're working on this rotary thingy down by Four Corners, and there was flags, other flags that I came up to, that the state is doing, and they've done some work around exposing this concrete head wall.
Okay.
So that wasn't done by my client, that was done by Commonwealth, whoever's running the, they didn't do much, they pretty much unplugged it, so. And I'm not sure how far to extent they're coming down this way, but they put I hear hearsay that they put a rotary in there.
Hearsay from Tamika. She would know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
in the buffer,
that's
they
what I
did
heard.
28.
There's a lot of survey markers all around, so while I was down there, I'm like, they're doing something. I can use this with you, so we can get on the next meeting and discuss it, and whatever you guys want him to do, he says, Evan couldn't make it tonight. But he said, whatever you guys need to do, let's do.
Are we good with RDA? We did request an NOI the last time. That was in our enforcement.
You have a quick background, I remember going
yeah,
there
sure.
when I first
Oh, this was your,
we went into that site and the whole wood chip berm.
Yeah, they dumped a couple truckloads into
Yeah, there
it.
was a problem.
So we
You
pulled all
guys
that out, they cleaned
took care of
everything
it,
up.
But what's going on, what are they doing now, what's the purpose?
Well, that company's gone, you said, right?
That company's
So
gone, those
this-
people are gone,
is basically,
right at the
so
street.
when we first did that site visit, they were supposed to submit an application for that work. So that's what the original intent was this was for, and now it looks like there's some additional armoring of that slope just to help solidify it. So it's kind of coming full circle still, so still on that initial violation site visit that you went on, and kind of working off of that.
Okay.
So when we walked that site, we came out towards the road, and it's just,
Yeah.
from years ago, they just dumped, and it's just not that stable. If we rip wrap it, it should hold it back for a long while.
Because that's gonna always be the entrance into that lot.
That's the way, that's a couple parking spots right there, so there'll always be cars coming in and out of there, so this would keep that from causing any issues.
Okay.
Fine with RDA.
Cause he tried to submit an RDA and we told him to take it back to the NOI.
Was that
I'm
when the
fine with an
violation,
RDA.
when they had, was that back when they had the violation, then that kinda got resolved?
I mean, they're not really developing it, they're just
Hmm,
doing
it's
a
just space for
little
parking
bit of
lot.
work in the buffer. I feel like NOI is overkill.
They cleaned up remember all the cinder blocks?
Yep.
That's all cleaned up. If they did, it looks like a whole different place. absolutely.
Like if he was gonna put a house on it or develop it or something,
No, that's,
then I would,
That's his other property, we already talked about that.
that's,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's next, yeah, that one's already done and gone, he's gonna live there. Cause I'm not sure how close that, the whole rotary and all, everything that's involved with that's gonna even get next to this one, but. It's gonna be a change for, what are they gonna call it now? Can't be Four Corners. Do they think about that? I'm gonna get lost going home. And go past Four Corners and take a left. Where do I go?
There aren't any corners.
Four Corners, that's,
yeah, they're gonna have to rename it.
Well, it's still Four
Can't be,
Corners, so
yeah,
it's-
it's still four corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
still Four
We'll have to
Corners.
change it to no longer.
Now there's gonna be no
No
corners,
longer
no
four
corners.
corners.
Maybe we'll
Alright.
change it to the peanut.
So are we okay with the
Well, it's
RDA?
not gonna be a peanut, is it?
No, I guess that's fair. It's not really a peanut.
Kelly Square.
Yeah.
Good with RDA?
I think so.
Alright, so we'll see you next meeting on it.
Alright.
Did we
No,
wanna
I
set
gotta
up
think of some advertising, I'll have them send the check.
Yeah, the TNG check, perfect, thank you.
a visit for those who haven't been there?
Maybe, yeah, I was gonna say if probably doesn't hurt, I've been there several times, so
It's an easy one to get to,
if I
driving
can't
by,
make it,
take
that's
you
not a
2
big deal,
seconds.
cause I've seen
Yeah,
it, but if
do you
others
think
want to-
he'll mind if we just
No.
individually stop by?
I don't,
Okay, is that okay with, if you want one of us to go with you to talk you through the history, you know where to find us. Okay,
I think that's it for me.
thank you.
Yeah, you took up the whole meeting with you.
We're used to it.
Believe me, I'm not here.
We got you a lot off the meeting too, but you're coming
39
back
years,
next time.
Skip. I know what you feel like now.
Alright. Next,
Thank you very much.
thank you, Julian.
Later.
See you.
Yeah, keep smiling.
I'm gonna try.
Next order of business, FY 26 appointments, discuss letter of interest for reappointment, Jared and George, and we also got one from the public as well. I don't know if anyone had time to look at that. Are you Tom?
Yes.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
So I did, just for everyone's edification, I did send Tom an email earlier, just giving him a heads up that we are a full board and our existing members are looking for reappointment. But we are always looking for people who are interested, to still come to the meeting. If he has any questions, if we have questions, that way if we have a vacancy at any point. So just so he didn't come in blindsided as well. I felt like that would have been awkward. So, yeah, if you don't mind, maybe introduce yourself. And if you have any questions for us, fire away.
Yeah, sure. I'm Tom Welch, from 16 Brookhaven Drive in Rutland. I actually grew up in Hubbardston, so I have a fond, I love the outdoors, you know. I've hunted, fished my whole life. I'm in school for wildlife biology. I'm a full-time firefighter in Worcester. Yeah, that's pretty much it right now.
Cool. Yeah, I also sent him like the MACC website, like, aka what do we do? Cause it's sometimes deceiving what we actually do. I don't know, did you have any initial comments or questions? Just kind of,
Not
I know
really.
you've been sitting here listening
No, this is great, yeah.
to our
it's good.
spiels. Sometimes it's exciting meetings, sometimes it's not exciting meetings.
We try to make them all exciting.
Yeah,
Sure.
we have fun. We try. We're productive, right? Yeah.
Mostly,
You never had 2 6-inch pipes instead of a 12-inch,
right?
so.
We're mixing it up here.
Actually, I'm pretty sure we have, but it's okay, it's alright. But yeah, I mean, you're always welcome to come to meetings.
Appreciate that.
I don't know, I mean, obviously, we still have to make a vote. I don't wanna speak for the commission saying we're going to reappoint our members. The people up are Jared and George, who just got on. So he's only been on a couple months, weeks, months.
One meeting.
One meeting,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much one meeting. I did get Jared's letter. He did decide to send it.
You guys can kick me off, it's okay.
I feel like that wouldn't bode well for me.
No, I agree.
But don't know, is there anything we wanna discuss? Are we good with reappointing, supporting George and Jared?
Yes.
Do we wanna move them separately or can you vote? You can vote on yourself, so.
I was gonna abstain.
Alright, we'll do them separately. Letter, we don't have to do a letter, right, just
You do, so if you could just make a motion to recommend
Oh, so then
the
you'll do
appointment,
it?
and then I'll write the letter and send
To
it to
yourself?
myself, yeah.
Alright, letter of support for George to be reappointed.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of my roll call?
Keenan, I.
Bjork and I.
Williamson, I.
Chancelucci, aye.
Clock eye.
Dan's a aye. And a letter to have Jared reappointed. I'll move that.
Sorry, Jared. No. I'll second.
All those in favor by roll call?
Keenan, I.
Bjork and I.
Williamson, I.
Chancelucci abstain.
Clock eye.
Dan's a aye.
I don't vote for myself. That just doesn't feel right.
But we do, it's not common that we actually have a full board, so this is kind of weird. So we really do appreciate your interest. We hope you stick around still.
I definitely will, yeah.
Alright, great, perfect.
We're serving sometimes.
When there was I went to the candidates meeting there,
Yeah,
and I forget which one of the gentlemen that was running for planning board.
Tim.
Well, the
No,
younger
Alex.
gentleman.
Alex
Alex.
Alex.
He said he was an associate member of the planning board. Is that
Glad you said
something that,
Other
is that
commissions
something
do
that?
that.
Yeah, so it has to
I mean,
be
just
a
if he wants to stay involved,
charter.
I don't know how that works.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
no,
I
no,
may
please-
have, I may
please
have jumped
chime
in
in.
sooner than where I thought Tim was going.
Where were you going?
Yeah.
Where I was going is, as a matter of fact, tomorrow, we were gonna be sharing that the associate position is available again. Because Alex is now a full elected member of the board, so there is an open position in that position. But it's appointed, it's not elected. But that was done through a bylaw change last year, so that's how they ended up with an associate member.
Okay.
So I don't know if
I didn't know
maybe
if
that was where your brain
something
was
that
going for
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
I
to
think
keep
it's,
him involved.
yeah, I think it's
I don't know.
some sort of bylaw, like to be an official associate member, you still don't like vote on anything, but you can get pulled in if like someone has to abstain. I would assume it'd also be a bylaw.
Oh.
Whether it's like a Concom, I don't think it'd be our wetlands bylaw, it would be like a Concom bylaw.
The only other question is, I don't know how alternate members work, like I don't know why some boards have them and some boards don't.
Cause I think some that are MGL have it written in there already,
Okay.
probably. Or have an allowance to, or ones that were just created by the town, probably they threw it in there for the heck of it.
Yeah, we just made it up,
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
cause it's a good point.
It is.
Cause a lot of our boards and committees have alternate members that fill in,
Yeah.
you know, if somebody's out or especially boards where you need, like with the planning board, a big impetus for why they did it was because some of their permits require a supermajority, and where they're only a 5-member board, if they had 3 members that night, then it would push the business off because they couldn't vote on it, whereas now an associate member can vote on it if a full member is not there.
Yeah.
So, I hear what you're saying.
Helps
Yeah.
if you have trouble having a quorum.
Exactly.
We usually don't, but
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time since we've been 7 members too.
know.
Yeah,
We don't
this
usually
is
have
This is not
unusual.
usual. Yeah.
We usually look.
It's a wonderful issue to have.
I know. Yep.
Yeah, but it's something to look into for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Make honorary ones in the meantime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can do that, right?
Concom volunteer.
Concom
I
volunteer.
could get stickers.
We're getting
Like a little badge,
a little
like
badge,
junior
yeah.
wildlife biologist. I've got those at work.
That's good.
What would you like on your
We're
sticker?
fun here.
Okay. Well, if you ever have any questions for us at any time, please, you have my email, reach
Absolutely.
out Tamika is also a scary wealth of information. She runs behind the town, so you can always find her.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for applying. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for applying.
Absolutely.
Alright, a couple other things that aren't on the agenda before we get to just general, if it touches the public, oh no, my computer just, okay. Our bylaw passed the town meeting. Yay,
Good job, guys.
It
That's really
was-
awesome. You guys
yeah.
did a lot of work.
that was great. I think there's still some misinformation. It seems like a lot of the people who are against live around like Demon Pond and Turkey Hill Pond, thinking that the bylaw will further restrict their like activities within the pond, like swimming, boating, fishing, etc. Which I tried to explain, like that at all is not what this bylaw is doing. Like, if you were to go pour a vat of oil in the pond, that might be different, but
Would be mad before a bylaw either way.
yeah, it's true. But like we're never going to say you cannot no longer swim, or boat, like that still remains DCR always and forever. So I think that's good. I mean, I think, we can continue to still put out educational materials, especially because this will be a new thing for everyone involved, engineers, homeowners, us. So it is something, it doesn't go into effect until the AG approves it, which usually takes a couple months. But in the meantime, we can start working on our regulations, so it might be something to start putting on the agenda for next time. What I will try to do, probably in small increments, is maybe what I did for the bylaw, is kind of have a core draft. Because it seems if we just kind of like, what do you like, what do you not like, it didn't get us anywhere. So if you have specific things from towns that you've seen from their regulations, feel free to send them my way or Tamika's way, and she can forward them to me. And that way we can start to plug those in. But for now, I'll at least start putting in like the bare minimums that we have from the bylaw, and that are kind of standard, and that way we can start filling in the gaps. And then once the AG has approved it, we can have our hearing to approve the regulations, and the only thing we do need to do at a next town meeting is get a revolving fund set up.
Okay.
I forgot about that one, so that we can collect fees and keep them. Because otherwise, if we were to ask for fees right now, do you think they'd just go to the general fund?
They would.
That'd be lame.
Yep.
That'd be real lame.
It would be.
So that's incentive.
Can we do that for fall meeting? Does it or just have to be
I
the
would
spring
think,
one?
no, I think it had
Yeah.
give me that.
Okay.
I don't see why not. I don't think it's one of those regulatory things where it has to be. I mean, it might be one of those things where they like to keep the financials on spring.
Yeah, I can't remember if they prefer it that way or if MGL says you could, because there's certain things in MGL you can only approve at an annual town meeting, and I don't know if revolving funds are one of them. I can definitely confirm it,
Okay,
but if not, we can certainly look at doing it for the fall.
that would be nice. Yeah, I think that was it for bylaw. And then,
MACC doesn't have a template
No, not for
regulation, right?
regs.
I didn't think so. Okay.
I feel like they should.
That would be nice. They did. It was helpful for the bylaw.
It was really
Mhm.
helpful. It was really helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, and George wanted to bring up that, hold on. He asked if we can put on our town page, the DCR's Growing Wild program is offering free pollinator starter kits that include 2 1-gallon native perennials, a seed packet of native seeds, and a Growing Wild sign for the garden. It's all over the state, but locally you can pick them up at Bemis and Spencer while supplies last. It's on May 30th. So maybe if we do a blurb about that.
I can do that.
And that was my PSA for the night. We also got an email about Palmagussit Road, and I don't know if any of you drove on it after the big rainstorm last week, but there was some decent washout. One of the property owners did send some photos. I actually saw it too when I was driving past there. Both along the dam area and further down Palmagussit too. It seemed to be eroding. I did see some crews out there. I haven't checked to see kind of what they've done thus far, but I think it's worth a follow-up with DOT for sure.
I did email them and they never wrote back.
Cute.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Have they ever?
Roger
It
usually
seems,
does.
well, yeah, it seems like sometimes they go from like being very responsive to
Yes.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
nothing.
not responsive.
Zero.
Yeah,
response.
exactly.
Um,
Was it just the unstabilized areas around the dam?
there was also like further, I guess it depends what you talk about further down Palmagussit, going towards 68. There was one where it seemed to almost like cross the road into one of like the older culvert crossings. So it's kind of that, I don't know if there's a property or if it's just a kind of an access up on the hill. It seemed to take out this little gravel access path and just rip through the guardrail on the other side. There are some cones still out there. So it's, there's some.
Didn't we ask them to stabilize all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause it looked like it had been hydro-seeded, but
There's
that
a
rain
ton of rain coming
just-
on Thursday.
yeah,
Oh my god, Thursday's gonna be a nightmare.
It's gonna snow up in northern New Hampshire.
stop it.
Ugh.
Um
It's gonna be violent.
I'm not going to work till July, so
Lucky.
suckers. Yeah, I don't know what to do other than just,
Do you want me to just email DOT again?
yeah. I don't know
Did
if
that
it's,
Tracy Cavalletti?
Yeah, I sent it to her.
yeah, who did you send it to?
I sent it to
Tracy?
Tracy, Roger, and Adele.
Okay.
Mm.
Will you maybe forward me the email and then
I think I
I'll.
CC'd you on it, so you probably have
Probably
it.
did.
I can use my mean voice next time.
All caps.
In all caps.
Did you CC me on it?
If DOT doesn't respond, would DPW be able to help us?
Oh,
out,
you did.
maybe?
Oh, I was reading the email that you copied me on. Okay, cause I'm happy to respond,
Yeah, in caps.
not that I think that you're not effective because you are, but
Gotta do what we gotta do.
gotta do what we gotta do, okay. I'll respond with my extra mean voice as well. And give them a deadline. I mean, I think tomorrow they need to be out there. Oh my god.
Before Thursday.
Tomorrow they need to
Yeah.
be out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will do that tonight after we adjourn. I won't go home until I do that. Okay, and I think, are you Mr. Warrington?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
do you have anything else you wanna add on that one? Thank you for
Yes.
sending them, by the way.
Yes, I had taken a bunch of photos.
Yep.
I forwarded them to Tamika, and I think I sent some more as well today, because the water has receded
Okay,
and a lot more is exposed. I mean, I really washed out very bad. I mean, it's not the first time, this is multiple times now, and this is by far the worst. They did add that extra washout area on the, if you're facing the dam from my property on the right-hand side, it washed out a section probably 3 feet wide by 30, 40 feet long, and it all washed right down over the dam, right into the river. And I filled that up with stone and gravel and sand and whatever came down from the road.
thank you.
As well as on the left-hand side, it washed out on the left-hand side as well, but not as bad. And then going up the hill on the left-hand side of the dam, they have the underpass where the water comes out from underneath the road. And that ended up washing out an area, and all they have is like a catch basin that's maybe not even from me to skip, and it's like a round stone catch basin to catch maybe 2 feet of water. After that, it ended up flowing over my land down into the pond.
So these are the ones you sent today?
On the bottom left, up where that, up the hill,
Oh, sorry.
that outlet, no, down on the bottom left-hand picture.
Bottom left picture, but up in the back.
Up in the back,
Oh.
up on the hill in the green area, where the black is there, that'll end up washing out on the left hand of all that stone, the small stone on the left-hand side.
Oh, sorry.
Area probably 30 feet wide by, I don't know, 50 yards long, all the way down to the pond. It took all the sand and, not the sand, all the topsoil and leaves and everything and went down into the pond. All that gravel, well, you can see the washout there, that took that barrier and washed it right down. I had a river coming down my driveway, I have like a 3-inch berm that goes into my garage, a 2-car garage, and the water was coming down so bad and I'm going into my garage. Around both sides of my garage and washed out on both ends of the other side of my garage on Moulton Road side.
Okay.
On Moulton Road, the water comes rushing down Moulton Road and washes right into my river. I don't have any pictures of that. That washout there in the middle picture is on the left-hand barrier washout that they had put in. There's two, one on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. The one on the right is the bottom, top left, I mean.
Okay.
The picture on the far right, the water actually walked over the top of the dam and took all that sand and went right directly into the, even though that barrier is there, you can see how the sand ended up going right over it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was probably maybe this much concrete before there was, but there's so much of that stuff just washed down and it ended up going right into the river. My driveway ended up washing out. I got on the right-hand side there's like a 6-inch lip about this high, and that runs probably 40 yards. At the top of the driveway where my mailbox is, they have put in those washout barriers on the storm prior to the last one, because it had washed out that whole right-hand side of my driveway prior to. They never replaced, they did put the barriers up, but it still ended up coming down. When DOT did that area at the top of my driveway where the mailbox is, I had a stone marker that was about this big around into the ground, and that was my property marker, which is no longer there. It's probably, you see where those trees are past my mailbox? Mm-hmm. It's probably maybe 5 feet from where those trees are. That access road that goes into the Griffin, it's not the Griffins anymore, but that property is mine. I told him he can use it just to access his property. When they, like I said, you can see all the washout from the storm before they put those barriers up. They put the barriers up, but they still didn't replace the washout. Right beyond the barrier in the middle picture, when they plowed, they ended up taking the top part of the curb, which the water ended up going over the curb and down into my property. The barriers that they put up in front of my mailbox, those are just kind of like temporary things. I don't know what the permanent thing is gonna be, but yeah, it's been a nightmare. The water quality has been horrible. I don't know what's going on, but the water coming out of the pond has been murky. And every time it rains, I'm getting all that foam piles of foam from the runoff from the road. I don't know why they designed all that runoff to come into my pond, because my pond can't. You know, you got oil slicks coming through the pond every time it rains from the road. I don't know why they put the drainage into my pond when the drainage was all going on the other side of the street from years ago. All the drainage pipes are up by the rail trail behind Johansson's. There's big pipes behind Johansson's that were supposed to drain into the pond.
We'll contact them and tell them to get it stabilized. I mean,
Yeah.
they were supposed to have it
I tried getting a hold of
stabilized.
Roger and I couldn't get a hold of Roger.
They were supposed to have it
I
stabilized earlier
talked to the
this
town
spring.
hall. I haven't heard anything from the town, not the town hall, the DPW.
Okay, we'll try to contact them again.
Is it okay if I send these most recent photos
Yes.
to them too?
Yes.
Thank you. These are extremely helpful. Yeah, I mean, these pretty much, they do show what I see, and it's not even just in that area either. So, we'll forward that off tonight. I'd recommend if commissioners are available during the rain, definitely take some drive-bys, put your eyes on it. If you see anything as it's happening, feel free to email Tamika. If you have any photos, you can also copy me and even send me a quick text just to say, hey, I saw something, sending an email. That way I can put my brain on, make sure that gets off to them.
They did have somebody coming up before the storm and they were testing the water. I don't know what company or was, I don't know.
Okay.
They were talking about putting in a fish ramp for the fish to get up to the pond. I don't know how they're gonna do that, but they were talking about that as well. These are two different people doing tests. I had seen them on the property, so I questioned what they were doing. But the water quality has been horrible and it's been stinky.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
okay. Well, keep doing what you're doing and emailing Tamika with photos.
Yeah.
I think that's really helpful for us, you know.
Oh, I had another thing, excuse me. I had mentioned the underpass that goes under Moulton Road. That's only like a 4x3 pipe. I have 4 exits.
Yep.
For my water to go through and that's probably only about a quarter of what my exit power of my other 4 exits. So the water did pile up. It didn't go over Moulton Road, but it came close to it.
Okay.
And it actually did back up where I had no backyard. Instead of the river only being, I don't know, 6 feet wide at its narrowest point, or at its widest point in my backyard, it was probably 40 feet wide. I had no backyard.
Okay.
But it didn't go over Moulton Road. I had told them, I says, that's not enough of an area for, because I got 3 exits.
Yeah.
I have one pipe that's 4x4, and then I got another one 4x4, and then my third exit, the emergency exit, is like a 2.5 foot pipe.
Yep. Okay. Alright,
I had spoken to Chris about that, and he didn't seem to wanna.
I'm leaning towards, I guess, the forcefulness of if there is additional washout on Thursday, giving them a heads up that, you know, I think we've been very lenient thus far. Official enforcement order would definitely be coming quickly.
I mean, because we've asked them to stabilize it on several occasions.
And
We told them where it needed
They
stabilized.
came and inspected it about 3 weeks ago.
Did they do
DOT,
anything?
and they had a group of maybe 8-10 guys in there, and they actually walked through the tunnel and they were checking for cracks, and Roger was there with a gang of, and I did speak to him then, and I told him about the issues of the prior storm, and he gave me promises, but nothing has came in about. Oh, another, excuse me for another thing. When the town ended up, they had to drill a hole through my house in order to give me water. They never connected the outside hose, so all they got is a hose sticking out of my house that goes to nowhere. Cause they, the only way for me to get water, they had to shut my water off, and the only way to get water was to put a hole through my foundation and access my line through my house. And alls I have is a blue pipe sticking out of my house. Roger said he was gonna come fix it, so I was assuming that was gonna happen, but that hasn't happened either. That was back in the very beginning when they were shutting the water off to put the dam in.
Okay, so that's been a while. Alright,
And I've had promises and I've promises and I almost forgot about it again, but I figured I might as well mention that too.
might as well. No, you've been in here several times, I know
It's been a nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I was gonna have a nice quiet time down there. I mean, you lived up the street for 40 years, so.
Alright, well, I'm gonna try to get something tonight.
Thank you, I appreciate
Thank you.
any help you guys can give me.
Absolutely. No, this is one thing that we can do.
Yeah.
This is jurisdictional. So if we hear back, and I think I'll put in my email, if you're okay with it, that they also reach out to you to make sure that they're being communicative, especially if that washout is kind of coming down your driveway. So if we hear anything, we'll make sure to circle
You have
back.
my phone number or my email?
We have your
I have your
email,
email,
All
Joe.
right, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
for sure. Alright, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
You know where to find us if you need anything.
Have a good night.
You too. Alright. Anything else from commissioners that they wanna bring up?
So I visited the property on Prescott, with
Oh, yeah,
the
thank
beaver
you.
dam issue.
Yep.
Do you wanna pull it up on,
yeah.
Mass Map or whatever?
Yeah.
So the property owners were complaining that, so they had a beaver pond in their backyard, essentially, and they loved seeing it. And then all of a sudden they woke up one morning and it was drained, completely drained. So I went and checked it out. I couldn't access where the beaver dam is or was because it was somebody else's property. But I suspect it was just before the heavy rain that we got, but it had rained prior. So I suspect the force of the water in the pond kind of washed it out. But the property owner, they were concerned that somebody pulled the dam, but without actually being able to go out and looking at the dam, we really have no, official say. So there's two levels. The pond on the left is still full of water, but then where you can see the pine trees right there in the middle, there's a beaver dam that goes across right there. So that's still intact. But it's this pond on the right that was drained, and it's just mud flats.
That's a huge pond.
Yeah, so that's empty. It was a week ago. And then the dam is further south, or was. You can see right where it narrows, right there, right where the cursor is. And I believe that's Dick Schultz's farm property. So it'd be good to be able to go in there and just check it out.
Did you ask him?
I haven't yet.
He probably would.
Do you want me to reach out to him?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
I did walk in there years ago when Kevin Jarvie owned Milk Room. And I've seen that dam and it's not enormous, but
But it's enough.
that was years ago, you know,
Yeah.
like-
I mean, dams wash out.
Yeah,
It's probably supposed to be a stream anyways, so.
right, it is. But then DPW told me that it washed out Emerald Road before it goes into Pine Hill. So they had repaired that crossing.
Yeah.
Worcester Water got a hold of them like immediately, and they did a beautiful job on the repair. But
Okay.
that would have been a force of water going.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And I did follow up with the homeowner and she was very appreciative that Brian came out and she was glad to hear that it was likely just a force of nature and
Right.
not somebody that had intentionally done it, and she was satisfied with that. So
Good.
thank you for doing that, Brian.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you.
But it'd be good to just put eyes on the dam.
Yeah,
just
I'll
to-
reach out to Dick tomorrow
Yep.
and I don't wanna speak for him, but I don't imagine he'll have a problem
There's
with
no
that.
way he went out there and preached.
No, I don't think so.
Him of all people,
No.
yeah.
But they were just concerned about that and
Oh,
I mean, that's a pretty dramatic change to wake up
Yeah.
one morning and be like,
yeah.
okay,
And
it's
it was
fine.
just before the heavy, like the 8 inches of rain, it
Yeah.
was just before that even happened,
Yeah.
so. You know, if it was after that, then they would have been like,
Like,
well, it's clearly, but.
Man, those beavers. Okay. Anything else from the commission before I open up to the public?
Have you heard anything about the open space plan from the state?
Oh, we haven't submitted it to the state yet. I'm
Okay.
still working with CMRPC because Greer left.
Oh.
Sadly, she moved on from CMRPC, so I'm working with her replacement. They're just doing final edits. I think updating like the GIS map, so we added a lot more of like the unique features, like more descriptions within the plan. So they're updating that map, updating the years of the map. Greer had finished the town inventory. So one change that did happen that is in our favor is the state is no longer requiring ADA assessments.
Really?
Of all the things, I
Oh,
wouldn't
thank
have thought that
God.
that's what they backed off on.
that's the
that's
biggest pain in the ass.
Well, and that's what it seems so backwards of what we're trying to accomplish of
Yeah.
like making things more accessible for the
accessible.
public, so let's get rid of the assessments. I don't know if, cause they're so, I don't know,
Cause it sucked.
it sounds like it's because they're trying to make it more friendly to like just update and extend existing plans instead of creating new ones. So we are going to submit once they go through like their copy edit phases, just submit for comments to get preliminary approval and then work on anything that needs to. We're hoping because we haven't formally submitted that we wouldn't be subject to the ADA assessments, but if we are, all we have to do is the town pool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just for all public properties.
Well, it's so, yeah, care and control of things under Concom and recreation, which so we have lands, but they're unimproved on, so those do nothing. So recreation technically only maintains the town pool, cause all the other fields are like the little leagues and so it's
awesome.
bizarre.
Well,
Yeah.
and Holden.
So it wouldn't be a killer if we have to do it, cause it's the town pool, but yeah, they
That's
got
awesome.
rid of it,
Yay.
so.
Alright.
That's where we are.
Tamika, what about that mess that Clee's doing over there at the town line? The tree cutting and that. I drove by there today, it looked like someone was installing hay straw bales.
Oh, the Main Street
The Main
lots.
Street lots, yep, they still, those permits were issued in 2022. So they're valid through September of this year, but because of the State Extension Act, they're actually good for another 2 years. I did reach out and connect with him and let him know, he is gonna have, you guys are going to have to do an ECB inspection. He said once they're done clearing the trees, he intends on getting those installed, and he said he'll reach out to do that. I did have him fill out and send me the contractor affidavit of service, so we have that for the file, and the last I heard, they were gonna be duplexes and not single family
I
homes.
think that's what the building permit was.
Yeah,
So that's different from what we saw.
Yeah.
Two of
yeah, I
them,
think
right?
it was, yes, yep, cause it was two separate lots.
So what I've been
Yeah,
doing
just
on
fine.
building permits is a lot of them, so their explanation to me is that they do permitting with like worst case scenario with us, with like the most closest point of wetland, most disturbance, and then they might back off. So when I comment on the building permit, I state that this plan looks different than the one approved, please send a revised plan to the commission for approval. And I don't think we got it on this one.
No.
And then, please schedule your pre-construction meeting, sign off on this building permit is not indication of, work, you still need to comply, blah, blah, blah. And we get their recording, they also need their DEP numbers, signs up.
Thank you, I did find that it was recorded, but I forgot to tell them about the DEP signs.
And I would remind Clea that recently we have been requiring ECVs prior to tree removal.
Okay.
It definitely makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. True removal causes
I was
disturbance.
kinda surprised by that response when he said that, I was like, oh, they're not there yet,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, sometimes I think there's an allowance to like cut, not stump before you put it in, but this is a fine enough lot where you could have installed your erosion controls prior to removing.
You do have heavy equipment going in and out and
And even regardless, he's supposed to notify us.
All of a sudden, he was just cutting, I was like.
I found out on Watcher
Frickin'
Chat.
That's fair, and the permits are almost 3 years old,
Giant
so.
crane on the friggin' property.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was it for the pre-construction stuff. Cause he always records his orders, I have to give him credit for that.
That's good.
Although I hate that they're all lot numbers.
I know.
As I'm updating all of our online documents, it just makes me wanna scream, but I do update them in our SharePoint as they come up in building permits to the best of my ability, so
Thank you
that
for
they
doing that.
match. For my own sanity sometimes.
Is it still a shared driveway? I'm just looking at the old plans. It's only one curb cut. And then it's single driveway, splits off to 2 houses. It was 2 single family houses before, when it came through us.
Oh my god, what's the open of, holy moly's. Hold on, I'll pull up the building permit.
Cause
No,
there's a sliver of land
yeah, this
between
is
the
the
lot
weird one,
and
right,
the
that,
right of way that says Commonwealth of Mass.
yeah,
Yes, and I remember this when it came before the planning board, and I believe they were A&R lots, because I remember town council had to get involved because there was a question of access, because if there's a guardrail, you technically don't have access, but there was a break in the guardrail. So they said that it was acceptable, but then I remember there was a whole discussion with the Commonwealth owns a strip there.
Yeah, it's a pretty thin strip through there.
Yeah.
Looks like. That's weird. I wonder if that state land got left over by accident.
I think that was,
Why is there a septic?
oh, there we go. These ones started in
Why wouldn't they be
January,
tying
that's
into
what I
Main Street sewer?
get.
That makes no sense. You could have saved all those
Maybe
trees
because
just if they would have tied in.
Depends who owns the lines. Because like where I live, DCR owned the line and we were not allowed to tie into the sewer. So I have town water, but I have a septic. So I wonder if it's the same thing, but I know that somebody said that they had seen them digging wells. So I think they're on well and septic over there.
They
Yes.
should just tie into Main Street. That
Does
makes
say
no sense.
approved common driveway, oh, but that's for a duplex.
Yeah, I thought they got a special permit for a common driveway from the planning board.
So this, oh, hold on, let me bring it up. That would be more special. Yeah, so it's like this common drive. So it like,
This makes no sense.
And then the other duplex
Yeah,
is
where's
to
the
the right,
second
it's
one?
to the right. At least
I don't think they pulled
based on his old plans.
that, unless that's 61A, but I don't think so. I don't think they've pulled that building permit yet.
Okay.
Just this one. Yeah, but it looks like it continues.
Hmm.
Cause there's no other way in there, so
Right.
that would be it.
So if there is washout
Yes,
on the dam and Mr. Warrington's, we need to enforce DOT because they're
yes.
pissing me off too. They do, they just don't respond.
Is there anything from the public that,
I'm Mike Pantos, 32 Palmagussit Road. I didn't come here to speak on this for something else, but since we're on the topic of Palmagussit, I did submit some minor stuff to DOT. They did respond to me and acknowledge it about a washout on the upper part of Palmagussit. There's a lot of debris that runs off the sides of the roads into the road.
Yep.
But I will make you aware, I live in the condos above Marketplace,
Okay.
And I don't know who to talk to about this, but I feel like it's something that we shouldn't keep ignoring, but there's some sort of drainage pond up at the back of the athletic field. I get the mixed Memorial Field, and it comes under the road that's up there and pours down into the back of our property, and I have video of it, it was a literal waterfall the last storm, and it washes out into the parking lot and then back onto Palmagussit.
Okay.
I feel as though that might be an issue, and especially with the amount of erosion it's producing over the years, but I'm not sure who to go to about that, if that's DPW, or what, cause it's the town's property pouring into our property and then pouring onto the road. If you wanna see it for yourself, it's right next to the steps that connect the field down to the parking lot.
Okay. I would assume the town. If it's coming from the town's property.
Can you pull up on GIS?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
I'm
I
just
was,
gonna-
yeah, I'm just don't know
Google
where
Earth.
the hell I am on my GIS right now.
I was afraid to bring it up because I didn't wanna incur any costs of having to change anything on the residents, but if it's technically coming from the town,
What's the address of the marketplace?
32 Palmagussit Road or
Thank you.
26, whatever you feel like.
Oh, I was so close, yet so far away. Alright.
So you can see at the back of the field, that little, whatever you call that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See the-
please.
So you see right here, so I guess, I was talking to someone the other day, I guess this used to be like a lot of rock and then they filled it in, so now it's kinda like marshy. But I don't know the technical terms, but there's a pipe here
Yep.
that goes under, come to find out, I just found this the other day, but there's a little, like a pond where it gathers here,
Okay.
and then it goes down here, there's big, large, ragged rocks that line up and down this.
Mm-hmm.
And then underneath those, it's like an abyss, but that's where the water comes. And that's where the water comes, and right here, it all washes out at the bottom of the steps.
Okay.
But the water was I can't tell you how fast the water was flowing, and it brings debris all down here. This corner is getting washed out, and then it usually gets back into the road. So it's not as much of a problem as that other gentleman, but I thought since we were on the topic, I would bring it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
while we're in that area.
yeah. I don't know how jurisdictional it would be to us, but it'd be good to get eyes on. I know I'm trying
I
to.
haven't talked to DPW yet, cause they're not around when I'm around, but.
That's fair. Yeah, I would definitely start a conversation with them, cause they would probably be the ones who would be responsible and would have to fix it. I'd say loop in the town administrator's office, but Austin's,
That's me right now.
yeah, aka Tamika.
Acting.
Where is Austin? Is he still here? He's not?
He's leaving us.
He's gone to greener pastures.
I know he's going to something, but I thought he was gonna finish his contract year out.
That changed.
Alright, yeah, we'll take a look, but definitely reach out to DPW. Sorry, we went off on a tangent.
The other thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm not an expert on this by any means, I just wanted to voice my concern as a resident about, I was at I think it was an RDIC meeting that I was at recently where they were talking about cutting trees to clean up some land that the town owns so that it can be developed for businesses or whatever. And that's not what I'm concerned about. What I'm more concerned about is that they were talking about the town not having had a forestry management plan in 40 years.
Okay.
So I just wanted to voice my concern on that, if that's anything you guys can help produce or help, especially with the wildfires we saw, not just in other states, but there were, it was last summer, the one before, there was a ton in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to voice my concern about that in town.
Okay, awesome, thank you. And I also had brought up to Tom that once our open space and rec plan is approved, one of our recommendations is to make the open space committee a permanent committee. That might be something too, that could help steward. That's a good thought.
So Melissa, if I may, Mike had reached out to me and asked where a good starting point was. And I suggested starting with you guys because technically speaking, you guys have the most experience with forest management plans and what those look like in other communities. I think ultimately with the RDIC's new charge, forestry management is on town-owned property is probably gonna fall under their purview, but it's kind of in limbo right now. So I thought for now he could, if you guys had any insight, and then I let him know when the next RDIC meeting is as well.
So I don't know if they're still doing it. Is MDAR still doing, or is it MDAR that does like the free forestry plans?
Not sure.
I know we have a forester who's working with the RDIC to potentially apply for a grant that would do a forestry management
good.
plan for a
Good,
particular
good.
parcel
Okay,
on Route 68.
okay, that would just be for one parcel.
But that would just be for one parcel, yep.
I wanna say, and I don't know if they still do it anymore, but MDAR, the Department of Agricultural Resources, typically has a lot of resources for forestry plans, and they used to at least offer a program to create, I forget if it was just for a parcel by parcel or town, a forest management plan, you know, and I think there's another one. Oh my god. I can also look in my work files, cause I did something recently and I don't remember.
It's eluded you.
Yeah, Owen did it to me. Sucked the life out of me. Okay. Anything else?
Motion adjourned.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor by roll call?
Keenan and I.
Bjork and I.
Williamson, aye.
Siltation.
Clock eye.
Means aye, we are adjourned, 7:59.